Anyhow, somebody left his job but is trying to take mine, but I won't tell you about all of that. Netball is where we start this Thursday edition of the SportsMax Zone. Jamaica clinched the Margaret Beckford Sunshine Series against South Africa, winning Game 2 by 12 goals, 59-47 at the National Indoor Sports Centre in Kingston on Wednesday night. The Sunshine Girls were again led by an almost perfect performance from goal shooter Shimona Jacques with 35 from 37 attempts, ably assisted by Shanice Beckford with 14 from 17, while for the Proteas, goal attack Maseko Camagelo was the best shooter with 19 from 20, supported by Elmire Vandenberg with a perfect 16. Let's hear now from both coaches, starting with South Africa's Jenny Van Dyke.
Congratulations to the Sunshine Girls. What a clinical performance by them today. That's something that we need to match. No excuses for us. We know what we're on about and we know what our goals are, and this is just not a good enough performance from Team South Africa. We'll definitely have to go back and make sure that we can step up on our performances here. Won the fourth quarter with the bench on, but we want to win quarters with the best players on court, and that's what we're working towards.
They were quite impressive tonight. I think they played an extraordinary game. I think I must commend South Africa, though. They did put up a strong fight. They did push us hard, to test us to see how tough we are. I think the girls were very mentally tough, physically tough. They showed resilience. I think we had some very good patches in the game. I think they put us on a lot of pressure, and I think we had some bad patches that we definitely need to correct. Overall performance, we're excited that the entire team played tonight. We got all 12 players on court, so that's something that we have worked on, and I think it's something that we must commend the girls that they have pushed to allow all 12 to play on court and to see how they will perform in this type of atmosphere.
Indeed, Latanya Wilson, whose outstanding defensive effort earned her player of the match, says this is just a step in the quest to consistent improvement.
I feel like I'm just trying to be better at whatever position that the coaches ask of me, and taking those 1%ers is always hard. Like at this stage, everybody's good. It's just getting those 1%ers right, and I feel like I'm committed to getting the 1%ers right, and that will elevate my game and grow it to another notch. And I'm excited for the future all.
Yeah, we're all excited about the future of the Sunshine Girls. Well, their former assistant coach and netball analyst, Sean Murdoch, joins us on set to review the encounter. By the way, he was the one trying to take my job. Well, let's see how he does at his. Sean, it's a pleasure to have you on the SportsMax Zone, first of all. How are you? And let's start with an assessment of the performance from the Sunshine Girls last night.
Ricardo, I'm very well, thank you for asking, and thank you for having me as well. The Sunshine Girls are in a good place, I think, in terms of how they're performing. Of course, as Coach Sasha Gay said in the interview, there are still some areas that needs to be checked out, and of course, what was glaring to me last night was the penalty count that we had. I thought the defenders were penalized a lot, and a lot of that was because of the work that, let's give some credit to the South Africans, their goal attack, Maseko, she did a great job, and I thought because she was always, for the most part, a step ahead of us on their attack, it forced our defenders to cause some, to contact often, and that was part of the reason why we had the penalty count. That was, like, my count was like 53 for the Sunshine Girls. Still a great defensive unit that we have, and even though the penalty count was high, they did some fantastic work as a unit. Still ways to go, and it's scary because the way they just because of how brilliant they are as individuals, because for me they're not yet clicking as a defensive unit but individual stars, and if they're able to do the things that they're doing without getting that right synergy in terms of a unit defense, it's just scary what the future holds.
When I looked at the encounter, I was actually very impressed with the South Africans, especially in the first half. And you spoke about Maseko, who I thought was especially brilliant, and consistently, either the South African goal attack or goal shoot found themselves alone under the goal post. They were able to evade the Jamaica defenders consistently in that first half. But I also felt that by the time they got to the third quarter, the Sunshine Girls defense raised the level and was able to match them.
Absolutely, and I agree, and I think it actually came from the change, that swap between Latanya and Julian, wing defense, goal defense, I thought it was a very good change from the coaches. For the most part, Masika was doing a good job on Jordan Ward, who is, of course, one of our premier defenders internationally. And when that switch happened, Latanya went up another level. Also, Julian went up another level in terms of what they're doing. And it's in the latter part of, I think it was the second quarter. So by the time they got to quarter 3, they were all engines running because all defenders were now up and about. And sometimes it just needs that one spark to get the team going. I thought Latania's switch, even though after the switch, Jordan actually did some work before. Like, I think Jordan got the first deflection immediately after the switch. So once that switch happened, the team went to a different level.
Yeah, a few players I want your grading on. The 2 England-born players. Grayson started last night at wing attack, and then in the second half, Rhea Dixon came on at goal attack. And I also want your assessment of Dean Thomas, who is back in the team. I think she was injured, played the first half of that game. Looked pretty winded at the back end of it, but she was able to survive.
Yeah, let me start first with Dean Thomas. Good to see her back in the squad. I mean, Crystal and Abigail, they held their own as centers for us while she was out. Of course, Nicole was out. Nicole is out as well. Dixon, who was our primary center up to World Cup 2023, but I thought Adine's experience and her ability to feed Shimona, your girl Shimona, I thought Adine's experience and how she fed Shimona was better than what we had in the first game. And as you said, the challenge with Adine is that she's not as fit as those girls, and she paid the price towards the end of the first half. But her feed, her entry or re-entry into the squad was very good, and it's just great to see that we have players now who are competing and they're on the same level. So I will look at how the coaches are able to bring in a different 3 for game 2. Now, usually that happens when we've won a series, yes, where you start to switch out people, and she's able to switch out and even switch out very early before the series is decided. And with the switches, the team went to another level. So glad to see Adine back. She was awesome at the start in terms of her feeding. Of course, not enough fitness in her legs, and I think that's why she kind of slack off a lot on defense. Yeah. But once she gets some fitness,
especially at the back end of the second quarter.
Correct. But once that comes back, she'll be fine. In terms of the British players, I had the pleasure of coaching Rhea at Fast 5 in 2023.
Yeah.
Thank you. So I'm still close to the players. I still have communicate with the players a lot. One of the things I spoke to her about is just her being confident to go to post when she has possession of the ball, yes, and that showed up in game 1 and 2. Yes. I thought in the England game she seemed a little tentative in terms of going to post, but seeing her going to the post in game 1 where she missed one, and then last night she was perfect.
Yeah, this might be a slightly tough question, but is Rhea Dixon a better wing attack than she is a goal attack?
Tough question, because in the first games against England we could have said that easily, but after her performance last night, then I feel like her preferred, I'm not sure if it's preferred, the position she plays more often is goal attack. Very effective at wing attack. Yes, very effective at wing attack. But I thought how she handled it last night, and she gave us some good minutes last night as well. And what is good about Rhea's inclusion in the squad, it gives Shanice time to get a good rest. Yes. And the good thing about it as well is that after giving her the rest there, because of how Rhea performed, there was no need to bring her back. So Rhea is able to carry the game forward. And I think the inclusion of the 2 English players, primarily Rhea Dixon, it will get Shanice to go to another level. I felt like for a very long period she was comfortable. Yeah. Still a good player, but very comfortable because there wasn't anyone kind of knocking at the door hard enough to get her uncomfortable. So I feel like Rhea's inclusion will definitely help her to get to another level.
Yeah, Shamira Sterling-Humphrey in her interview said, she felt it was a 10 out of 10 performance and they're going for 3-0. You spoke about rest just now, and instantly I thought, the time between these matches has been quick, like a quick turnaround. Do the girls' complacency, it's not going to play a part, right? Because they've won already. Yeah,
no, absolutely. I know the players, as you said, and I know the coaches as well. Absolutely not. I think the girls are going for that clean sweep. It would be foolhardy not to try to get the clean sweep. The race at the top in terms of ranking points are very close, and the more we win, we don't play as often as other countries, right, primarily because of our funding challenges. And so every time we get on court, it's It's very important for us to win the games so that whenever we are not getting the games that other countries are getting, we're still able to maintain our position as one of the top countries in the world.
Yeah, funding challenges. Now that everybody is gravitating and getting themselves at the matches, do you think that those funding challenges hopefully can alleviate very soon? Because now people will want to put their money.
Yeah, and Ricardo was excited at the start in the intro about the audience or the capacity.
Well, he wanted more, actually. He said he was greedy.
I am right there with him, actually. But it's good to see where we are now. I hate to see the empty benches on the screen. And the vibe is second to none. When I look at the comments on social media, they want the fans around the world, to South Africa, let's be specific.
Yeah.
They are saying that we should ban the lids, what we call pot covers.
Yeah.
They're saying that we should ban the vuvuzelas. But the crowd is electric.
Which one are the boo-boo sellers?
The noisy.
The ones you blow.
The horns,
Okay.
yeah.
The
Okay,
horns.
the
horns,
horns.
yeah.
Right. So the atmosphere makes up for the empty seats. But it's good that people of popularity are coming, or fame are coming
I
to
love
the
that
games.
for it. Yeah.
And I'm hoping more sponsors are coming on board as well, because that's the key part of the struggles that we've had in terms of resources, just not enough funding.
Yeah,
Yeah.
quickly before we go, because the segment is fast winding up, the under-21s haven't done very well. They've been badly beaten by the South Africans in the under-21 phase of this series. Is there any concern there as they get ready for Gibraltar and the Netball Youth World Cup later this year?
Yeah, absolutely concerned, and I'm sure the coaches would be concerned as well. The challenge for us as a country is, it's affected most countries, but in terms of the top country, the challenge for us is that out of COVID, we were one of the last top countries to get back to netball. Because of COVID, there was no under-21 program, and so there was no tournament in 2021. And so we never had a squad that was preparing. So what you find now is that we've only last year put a squad together and started to play. The challenge with that is that the other countries like the England, the South Africa, as you see, Australia, New Zealand, those under-21 players are playing in their top flight competitions, the ones that our Sunshine Girls are playing. So the challenge is definitely going to be hard for us. It's going to be a steep task, but I'm sure the coaches are looking towards that challenge.
Yeah, we're pretty much out of time, but in 30 seconds, I couldn't let you leave here today without a comment on Shimona Jacques.
Absolutely. Shimon, and I've always said it, Ricardo, I've always said that we have the best 3 shooters in the world. 1, 2, 3. I will not rank them.
I wouldn't ask you to.
No, thank you.
I thought you would.
I wouldn't rank them, but absolutely, I think we're the best 3 shooters in the world. The challenge for us, and the challenge that we had at the World Cup last year, is thinking about giving Shanice rest. So while you have 3 very good shooters, you could only take 2 because you need another goal attack who could give Shanice that breather when needed. So the challenge will be there for the selectors again. There was a challenge last time in terms of selecting the team, but really impressive in terms of how Shimona is going about her business. There were some fumbles, and she would have identified it in an interview that she did as well, but it's only up from here. She doesn't play a lot with the team, and so the more she plays now, is the better she'll get.
Quickly, in 10 seconds, one of the things I realized with her is that she calls and demands the ball very early. Is that a good thing or not?
It's good because when you're playing, your target is the shooting circle. So once it's whether it's centre pass or you're coming down an attack having won the ball and from a turnover, the target is the goal circle for the shooter to put the ball to the pole. So her calling for it, it's good. So it doesn't matter how early she calls. What will happen is that the players now need to decide if it is clear to pass the ball to Shimon at that point. Okay. Sometimes the hold not as strong, but that will only get better. She plays against the world's best players, and fortunately against Jamaicans as well, week in, week out. So it can only be better, and I'm excited about what the future holds for the Sunshine Girls and netball in Jamaica.
Yeah, we're all very much excited. And by the way, they're putting on quite a show at the National Indoor Sports Centre. So if you haven't done so yet, take the opportunity, even if you have to take a plane, to get to the NISC and watch the final game on Saturday. As usual, it will be live on SportsMax starting at 6 p.m. That's 7 Eastern Caribbean time. Yeah, you're in for quite a show. Let's go to a break. We're back with more on the SportsMax Zone. Thanks to Sean.